Hi there, my name is teacher Ilona Smith. Today we're diving into another business studies topic, creative thinking and problem solving for grade 11. Another important topic, grade 11s, because this one is getting dived into once again in grade 12. So pay attention because again, we did it in grade 10, we do it in grade 11, and we're building that foundation for grade 12. I hope you enjoy the video. Alright, let's dive in. Creative thinking and problem solving. Here is the textbook that I've made use of to make the video and the slides for today's video. I have used the textbook as is. I haven't changed it one single bit, which means I do not take credit for the information and I do not take credit for the creation of the information. I'm using it as is, as the learners for business studies need to study it word for word, write it word for word, and therefore changing the wording is potentially disadvantaging the learners, and this YouTube channel is just meant to help learners with revision and help them with their studies. So I've used it as is. Alright, so we did this in grade 10 where we learned about different problem solving techniques and we used them to generate solutions for business problems. In grade 11 we are going to focus on the application of force field analysis and the Delphi technique. Okay, creative thinking to address business problems. The meaning of creative thinking. Creative thinking is when people are able to think of new and original approaches and ideas to find solutions to challenges. Creative thinking is about being resourceful by applying artistic and clever ideas to create something original or new. Then we have routine thinking versus creative thinking. A very nice one to use in a table. Now, just important, if they say to you distinguish or give the differences, the side by side don't need to link. But if they use the word compare, then they have to link. So for example, routine thinking, we're using the left side brain function. Creative thinking, we're using the right side brain function. So they have to be side by side and they have to link for a compare type of question. But if it says give the differences or distinguish between the two, then they don't have to link up. Okay, routine thinking, we're looking at the left side brain function where it focuses on logical thought and a methodical way of doing things. It is consistent. It's a normal way of thinking that is applied to a specific situation. Doing things in the same way will lead to the same results because past decisions are used to solve current problems. Okay, just as an example of routine thinking, the way I look at it is your everyday thinking. You wake up, you brush your teeth, you shower, you have breakfast, you might have a cup of coffee. There's nothing really creative or different about that. It's just your normal everyday things. So going to a workplace, you are a salesperson, you're answering the phone, you're answering emails, you're doing everything. There's the word methodical. You have a method and it is the same way of doing things. Let's say the sales are decreasing in the business. We normally, if the sales decrease, we have 20% off sale. We've got a promotion. You know, we do those type of things, but we've always done those type of things. So it's nothing new and creative and innovative because it's everything we've been doing in the past. There's no new ideas that are generated or thought patterns that are generated. Everything is the way that it used to be. Then creative thinking is quite the opposite. So here we're using our right brain function where new ideas are created and generated. The focus is on being creative, using someone's imagination, insight, art, music awareness to find solutions to unique challenges. The process is used to come up with new ideas to solve problems in a way that is unusual and different from how things were done before. Results in exploring innovative ideas and different ways of doing things in order to obtain better results. Then we have conventional solutions versus non-conventional solutions. Again, similar, like to ask it in a table. Okay, conventional. These are solutions that are believed and followed by everyone. These solutions is what most people expect and they appear to be normal. They focus on being relevant to a situation. Usually there is one solution to each problem or to a challenge. Okay, I use this as an example for my learners. So in your class, your teacher needs to administer mini tests. So typically after every chapter, they will give you a mini test. Then I asked my learners and I kind of quizzed them and said to them, okay, what is believed by most teachers, appears to be normal, and is a solution to a problem? So if I want to do a mini test, what is now I'm trying to use keywords, the normal thing that's followed by everyone? Teachers will set it up on their laptop, get it printed, and hand it out. Correct? That's a mini test. What are ways that we could do it differently? Let's dive into the information and then I'll give the examples. Non-conventional solutions are solutions that are created as not part of the norm. So they are not part of the normal way of doing things, which are not followed what is generally done or believed. These solutions are creative and unique, and they usually are a result of creative thinking. They are often interrupted or they bring about a change for better ideas. There's a diverse amount of solutions, so there's many solutions, which may be applied to problems or challenges. Okay, so how could a teacher thinking, results of creative thinking, it's unique, it's not part of the norm, and it's not generally followed by others. A teacher could administer a mini test by setting it up on a website, such as Google Forms. You can have mini quizzes there. A lot of trainings I go for, we actually do tests and quizzes there. There's one, I think it's called Quizlet. You could do it there as well. So the thing is, it's not part of the norm. It's not the way we normally do things, but you are assisting learners and encouraging them to use technology. They can do it at home. They can do it within the classroom. And the nice thing is you have record, because perhaps the way you set it up is that they have to give their name, their surname, their class, and their learner number. And then you have their results. You can capture it. You can print that out and put it in your file for when you get school visits. So there's a nice example. Are we testing and administering a mini test? Yes. Are we doing it the way it's normally done? No. But are we receiving the same results? Possibly. Maybe even better. So that conventional is like an old way of thinking. It's followed by everyone. Everyone believes it to be normal. But non-conventional is, the way I remember it is, non-conventional is not normal. So it's not the normal way of doing things. Ways in which a business can create an environment that stimulates creative thinking in the workplace. This one they love to ask, typically as part of an essay, but just be warned, this one is asked a lot. Businesses must emphasize the importance of creative thinking to ensure that all their staff know that their ideas will be heard. They need to inspire staff to come up with new ideas. Plan regular workshops so that brainstorming sessions can be held to generate new ideas. Ensure that communication channels remain open by placing suggestion boxes around the workplace. Train staff members to think creatively, to solve problems, use mind maps, and lateral thinking. Encourage job exchanges within the organization and other businesses to improve creativity in the workplace. Encourage alternative ways of doing things and working. Accommodate employees' ideas and try not to let anyone feel less important in the workplace. All right, so the advantages of creative thinking in the workplace. Creative thinking will lead to improved participation of staff members, which will ensure the generation of new ideas. The business will have a competitive advantage over other businesses because they have unique strategies that are introduced. One of my ultimate examples, if you've watched my previous videos, you would notice I mention this one often. So nice one for originality for your essay, because it is relevant. It's in the last 2 years. Is Checker 6060 with their bikes and their onesies for the kids and the helmets. That's a competitive advantage because you are now tapping into the emotions of kids. You're getting them excited. You're getting them hyped up. So if there's a mother that needs to choose whether going to Checkers or another competitor, because that hypes up the kid by ordering by Checker 6060 because they get excited, they get to like have a little experience with their bike and their onesie and their helmet, and all of that, a mother would probably prefer to go to check at 60/60 because it is making their child happy and their child is having a nice experience from it. So do you see, just a small act like that is actually giving them a competitive advantage, and it keeps customers coming back to them. Businesses will be able to solve complex problems. As management and employees introduce and create many ideas, saving time and money for the business, productivity will increase. Managers and employees will demonstrate more confidence as they perform their duties. Managers will be inspired to lead their teams more efficiently. Managers and employees will apply their knowledge in a collaborative manner when performing their duties. The morale among staff members will be improved. This leads to a more positive attitude as managers and employees feel that they've contributed towards problem solving. Creative thinking will ensure that managers and employees stay abreast of the latest developments in technology. Managers and employees will be more creative as they are challenged to work outside of their comfort zone. Creativity may lead to new inventions which will improve the standard of living. Managers and employees will feel that they have contributed towards problem solving. So if we're looking at that robotic vacuum mop, that's definitely increased the standard of living. I mean, I don't know entirely, but now instead of someone spending 30 minutes to an hour cleaning their entire house, they just click a button and this does it for them, which gives them more time to focus on their work, gives them more time as teachers to mark papers, to do YouTube videos for learners. It gives you more flexibility, which could make you happier. And this all comes from creative thinking. All right, problem-solving techniques. Businesses use problem-solving as an instrument to determine if there is aspects within the business environment that need changing. This is done so that there is better control over the business environment and to ensure that if there is anything that needs to be corrected, the solutions are found and implemented as quickly as possible. The Delphi technique and force field analysis are two techniques that can be used by businesses to solve complex problems. We're going to look at them in detail in a second. So the meaning of problem solving. Problem solving is a process of studying a situation and finding ways to bring about change. It involves collecting facts that include problem finding and problem shaping. Creative and logical skills need to be applied to find solutions to the identified problems. Alternative solutions should be generated and evaluated in response to problems. Problems can be solved by an individual, a group, or a team member. All right, so we have Delphi technique, the meaning. This is used to solve new and complex problems. A panel of experts who have never met each other face to face come up with creative solutions to problems without having to sit through long, drawn-out group meetings. Force field analysis. Force field analysis is used for decision making, especially when implementing change. The analysis involves identifying the advantages and disadvantages of a decision for change. Okay, very important. These get done in grade 12 as well. So it's important to learn keywords, okay, and grouping these words together. So Delphi technique, we are talking about panel of experts, and they don't have to meet face to face. Those are your keywords. Then when we're looking at force field analysis, we are looking at, most importantly, change management, and we're looking at the advantages and disadvantages. All right, so we've got the application of Delphi technique. So how this could be asked in an exam is, how can a business apply the Delphi technique for problem solving? We're going to look at force field as well. Businesses should invite a panel of experts to study the complaints from customers. Experts, do you see how it's repeating, do not have to be in the same place, and they will be contacted individually. A questionnaire consisting of questions on how to improve the quality of products and services must be designed and distributed to the panel of members and experts. The panel should respond to the questionnaire individually to suggest improvements to the product, then return it to the business. The responses from the experts must be summarized in a feedback report. The feedback report and a second set of questions or questionnaires based on the feedback report must be sent to the panel members. The panel members are requested to provide further input or ideas on how to improve the quality of products or services after they have studied the results and documentation. Then a third questionnaire based on the previous feedback from the second round is distributed to panel members and experts. Once that's done, we will have a final summary and a feedback report with the methods to improve quality of product or services that is prepared. After the consensus has been reached, then the best solution will be chosen. All right, so important. We're going to invite the panel of judges, but we're going to invite them individually. We can either send them an email or we can phone them, depending. All right, then we need to come up with a questionnaire that's going to have questions that they need to answer. So let's say most of our clients have complained that the water we are selling is too salty, okay, for example. But we don't know how to improve it, and they don't like the color of the bottle. So then we come up with a list of questions. When drinking our water, did you find it to be salty? Yes or no? Did you like the color of our product? Yes or no? If you had to change the color, what color would you make it? Are you with me? First set of questionnaires. That gets returned. We look at the questions, and then we send a second questionnaire. The second questionnaire might have more in-depth. So let's say we said, did you find the water salty, yes or no? Then they said yes. Then in the second questionnaire, we can say, how would you suggest we improve this? Because the water shouldn't be salty. Or we say, what colors would you suggest would align with our business strategy that we could use for the bottle of water? Continuing. Then once we receive the feedback from the second questionnaire, we're going to get a more detailed third questionnaire that we're going to send out. Now, obviously, we've done feedback after each phase. After the third and final phase, we're going to do a final report and then decide what is the best solution we're going to take for our products. The nice thing about using this type of technique is that because they are all individually, doing this questionnaire, they won't influence one another because they probably don't even know who each other is. The second thing is they are experts. So they know how to improve products. They are experts in their field. They have the knowledge, skills, and expertise to help and assist. And then thirdly, with all of the feedback and the questionnaires coming back, we can build so much, such a big report on this that can definitely help us in how to fix our problem that we are problem solving. All right, here's just a little diagram of all of the steps that we've gone through. You can pause the video at this stage and just look through the diagram, but we've explained each and every step. Then the application of force field analysis. The current situation and problem and the desired solution is described, okay? So remember, force field analysis, we want to bring about change. So perhaps we have it that, I know the example that I used in the school is that, and I'm sure most schools have this, is that the learners come late for class and it does disrupt the lesson. And I just find that it also cuts back on teaching time. So I said to the learner, so what to remember about force field is that we have a problem. We want to bring about change. So in no way is this brainstorming. So let's say for example, the problem is late coming, okay? If it's a very big school and there's only a 5-minute bell between periods, perhaps we can suggest that we extend that bell to 8 minutes. All right. Now that is the, desired situation or solution to the problem. Okay. So we're going to use that as an example throughout. So we're going to identify what happens if no action is taken. The learners keep coming late. They're going to keep disrupting the lesson, keep disrupting the learners. They robbing teaching time from the teacher and from their peers. Okay. So it's not really helping if we are not trying to find a solution to this problem. Within business situations, it actually could be worse if we don't actually bring about change to the problem. Then we're going to list the driving forces and restraining forces to either support or resist the change. So we are going to say that we want to extend the bell by 3 minutes to make it 8 minutes. Then we can mention what are the driving forces. Well, the things that could support the changes, learners will come on time. The learners will actually get the desired amount of education that they actually want to receive or they want to get. The restraining forces is, now the question might be asked, if during every period I'm making the time between walking to classes 3 minutes longer, where am I taking the time away from? Teaching time? Or am I going to say, because after every period, I'm extending it by 3 minutes. If I add up all those 3 minutes, I need to extend the school day. So instead of maybe coming out at 3:15, we now come out, instead of coming out at 2:15, that was my bad, we now come out at 2:30. That could be a restraining force because that could hinder on the learners. Maybe transport is an issue. There's maybe issues. So you get my point. We're trying to mention the driving forces. So driving, we're pushing it forward, we're happy with it. And restraining is we're kind of pulling back and we're not very happy with it. Remember, for the change. So we have the proposed change. Extending the 5-minute bell to 8 minutes. That's the change. We are not brainstorming and coming up with 4, 5, 6 different solutions. Okay, there's one solution and we mentioned all those. All right, so then we have the key restraining forces and we need to mention all of their strengths. So the good things about them. All of the driving forces and their strengths as well, the good things about them. Now we need to allocate a score, okay, on a numerical scale. So 1 is weak and 5 is strong. So perhaps if we say one of the restraining forces is that perhaps learners will still come late because by making the time longer, they're still just going to mess around and hang out with friends instead of walking to class. So we could say that 5 is strong as, yes, we strongly agree that that is going to happen. Perhaps we say that one of the driving forces is that perhaps learners will arrive on time when we give that 1 a 5. But then we say learners will be upset because obviously the school day is extended. We give that 1 as a week because we're like, no, we don't feel like that one impacts it as strongly. Okay. Now we need to look at all the positives and all the negatives that we evaluated according to the scores. And we need to decide, is this project viable? Can we change the school bell from 5 minutes to 8 minutes? Will it be viable after everything we've come up with? Then we need to choose the force with the highest score as a solution to the problem. The restraining forces should be analyzed to determine the best way of moving forward with them. And then we need to identify your priorities and develop an action plan. I just want to state before we move on, this is purely an example. I don't want learners running to their principals and saying that teacher Ilona has said that we need to extend the bell. It's just a nice example because I feel it's applicable to most teachers watching my channel and to most learners watching my channel. It's a nice example because we all experience it and it's very applicable to business studies and to schooling, and it's something that you learners will probably remember when doing force field analysis. All right, there's a little diagram. You can see the forces for change and the resisting forces. Okay, solutions to a business problem. In the business environment, employees need to work together collaboratively to be successful in finding solutions to business problems. Employees working with one another to solve business problems build positive morale, which will lead to buy-in when implementing solutions. So the advantages of working with others to solve problems. There will be different perspectives to be considered because it could be difficult to be creative and innovative on your own. You have access to a broader base of skills, knowledge, and expertise, which helps you to get the opinion of others on the matter. Think about a workplace. Okay, you learners at school, most of you are all around the same age. I know you may feel that the grade 8s are much younger than you, but let's be really honest, they're only a few years younger than you. When you're in a workplace, you've got people 10 years older than you, 20 years, 30 years, even 40 years older than you. So the nice thing about working together is, yes, the newer generations are more technologically advanced, but there's a lot that we can learn from the old generations. So a good example that I always think of is an accounting system. Okay, I took accounting in college, I know. And it frustrated me why we had to learn how to do accounting paper-based. And in schools, you guys do it too. Why we have to take paper and fill in the accounts, it just didn't make sense to me, because nowadays we've got Pastel and we've got Sage. The system does it for you. As you type the one in, it's going to link your bank to telephone, to expenses, to all these things. But the importance is, when there is load shedding, and these things need to be done, you can still do it on paper, you can still work, which is where the older generations come in and will help and assist with something like that. Silly example, but example it is. More ideas can be triggered from other employees' ideas, which can help with problem solving. It facilitates learning from one another when colleagues are able to teach and explain things to one another, especially when working in groups. Working together is encouraged to produce greater results. The workload is decreased because everyone shares the problem and their expertise. My mom always had a saying, this is more applicable to when like you're upset or something, is a problem halved, no? A problem shared is a problem halved. And that's kind of with this one too, like, because we are sharing the problem and we are both helping each other, we are essentially halving the work because we're working together with it. All right, mind map recap time. So here's the mind map for today's video. It's a bit more of a condensed mind map. It doesn't have all the nitty gritties and inner information, but you're more than welcome to pause the video and jot it down. Here are the resources I've made use of for today's video, as I mentioned in the beginning of my video. I just want to say thank you for watching today's video. Again, grade 11s, you do this in grade 12, and it's building the foundation for grade 12. And I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you learned something. Please give it a thumbs up if you did, and please consider subscribing to my channel. All the best of luck with the June exams, and I really hope it's going well. I hope to see you in my next video. Bye for now.